freight train rolling, bringing truth bombs down the line. Promoting the Southland 1 week at a time. Promoting the Southland 1 week at a time. SCV chat starts now.
Doink doink.
Doink doink.
I don't think that's copyrighted, but if it is, oh well. Views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of the SCV, its GEC, its executive director, nor any division, brigades, camps, or other subsidiaries, strictly those of us who are expressing them.
That goes double this episode. Let's watch on the screen because I feel like we are going to get some fired up because I was going to tell.
Hold on. Jeff.
That's like saying, your microwave cooks some food faster than your oven.
Jeff. No. Say some inappropriate remarks. We're just going to go with that. That's like saying you're the fastest snail. But anyway. Good evening, everyone. Dr. Mitchum, I have not forgotten your call from last week. I just haven't had a chance to sit back down and rewatch the Daily Wire episode to get that exact quote. I think that's close enough. What you said for his quote, but I'll try to rewatch it. I was prepping to get started for today. Was my first day of the 15th grade.
Oh,
again.
Yeah.
Round 2.
While you're doing that, my class ring came in.
Yeah, well.
I
also took an 11-year break.
Yeah, no, well, so someone did the math, and that hurt my ego just a smidge. They were like, do you know, like, if you don't count my breaks in the middle, because I did take a break from college. I never addressed it on the show, but I did. I moved back home and handled some family matters. But someone was like, you were in and out of college for 7.5 straight years. And I was like, that hurt me here. And I made a whole post about it, and people are still asking me 2 questions. Am I finishing my history degree, and am I getting a master's? And of course, the third one.
And no.
And the third one was what I got my piece of paper in this time, marketing. The answer to a master's, who knows?
No.
Probably not. Answer to finishing my history degree, I am pretty close. I'll see if Forrest will pay for it again. And the answer to that
is no.
So we'll see.
So now more than ever, go to patreon.com/SCV_chat and feed a moose a corn dog. And maybe he'll be able to finish that degree.
Yeah, no. Yeah, maybe one day, maybe I'll pull a GCB and stay out of college for
11 years.
11 years, then go back for a master's or finish my poor American history degree. But I do know one thing. My father, I'm trying to follow his footsteps into many, many numerous things. The amount of degrees he has, the colleges he has attended, that is also a no.
Being completely bald. Anyway, Carl asked, pretty soon I'll be off the GEC and able to say what I want. Carl, you can say whatever you want now.
I say, Carl, what have you been doing?
Yeah. We can say whatever we want. We're just saying that it's not necessarily the views and opinions of that of that governing body.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no, this is independent from SCV. This is SCV chat.
Our views and opinions. Really quickly, I hope Jason, you had a good time at the 165th First Manassas thing this weekend.
Ooh.
As usual, your kit was on point. But everybody else is coming in, so we'll get started here in a second. Normally, we try to. I'm gonna paraphrase a certain center a little bit leaning right news empire, I guess you could say, who those people are. But news channel. That they had a series of docu-series where they reviewed certain historical events, and they said that the news is the first draft of history, and indeed it is. And there's some stuff that made the news over the past weekend that we feel like we need to discuss. Especially because we are. It is important for us to understand what's happening, because this is going to open up the broader a broader audience for us, of course, if people watch it. So remember to like and share. But
Yes.
also a history repeats itself, and those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. But also we saw this happen during the previous administration of this presidency of people going absolutely crazy, and of course that ramped up attacks on our history and heritage. Not saying that they ever stopped, but they were a little bit more hot and heavy during the early part of this decade, and it's going to happen. So this is kind of our watchword. This is kind of our guys. We see this. This is what's happening. So definitely be on the lookout in your areas.
Be on the lookout in your areas, and we're able to say, "Hey, look, we've noticed this first." But I also want to point out that I'm trying to find a way to phrase this that I don't hurt anybody's feelings, but there's really not a nice way to say it. I have noticed in my time in this organization, a lot of people will deny that our enemies will do anything, and we're just going to automatically win at the end of the day. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm one of those people that I 100% see us winning and having a lock of protection around our heritage in my lifetime. That's what I'm working for. Heck, we've said it on the show. We said it when I was 20, and I'll say it again at 27 now. I could be doing a whole lot more. Oh, my gosh. The amount of hours I put into this is not good. I pour my heart and soul into this, but that's because I want us to win, and I know we can. But I just want to say, watch out for that attitude. It's good to be optimistic. It's good to be like, I know we're going to win, because in my heart, I know we're going to win. But just assuming we're going to win, this is the danger of it. Because if you don't know what we're talking about, and I'm not going to go into it. I'm going to let GCB go into it. He has a better
I'm going to say, the you ain't going to win unless you're in the fight.
Yeah.
It's like I told my future stepdaughter the other day. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I think that's a Michael Jordan quote.
I have used that quote a lot.
So, but yeah, this is this is kind of our time to be alive and to be watching. Really quickly, Jeff out of Kentucky did want to give us a quick reunion update. The sold out bourbon tour will be at Buffalo Trace. Rooms are almost sold out of merchandise, and register at 131scv.org. Yes, remember that y'all need to register for meals by, I believe, June 1st. If you want to participate,
and make sure to register for your division reunions as well.
Yeah. Let's. Anyway, so without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Now again, go ahead and put that. Just roll it across the bottom.
It might be best to keep it here tonight, because as soon as GCB sent me that, first off, you can see how dark my humor is. Have you ever seen the Muppet movie, the promo for the second one?
No.
It's the We're Doing a Sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that immediately about what happened in 2020, their so-called summer of love. I call it something else that I'm not going to say at this time. That's a whole other episode on what I think this is. But yeah, no, that popped up in my head immediately when I saw what we're going to talk about is hang on to your hats, boys, because we're doing a sequel. And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. So this past weekend, our favorite, I say favorite with a bunch of sarcasm. Let me.
Bumbling idiot.
Yeah, former bartender who is a member of the House of Representatives, Miss AOC herself, decided to take a trip down to Alabama and stood at the State House there in Montgomery, the same State House where Jefferson Davis was inaugurated as provisional president to the Confederate States of America. And she made a speech. Now, of course, if you have not been following the things that happened in the Calais case on the Supreme Court, we're not going to go into that, but it was in response to that. But if you have not, seen her video. This is coming from her own YouTube page, so we're not taking anything out of context. This she put this up as her own as something that she is proud of. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up.
Oh.
We're starting. Hey, go ahead.
Oh, I didn't know we were just going to pull out the whole video, but that's great. Yeah, no, it falls under fair use, by the way. I'll let me just put this.
We're not. Don't even worry about the copyright stuff. Yeah, we're not even going to be 10 minutes of it. So, we're starting this clip. If you want to go, we'll play it so you don't have to go and give her any more views. But y'all just pay attention to what she says.
What do we do in this moment? I feel helpless. What action can I take? It is time for the North to pull up to the South.
What? Y'all catch that? It is now for those that don't speak, her saying that it's time for the North to pull up to the South. Essentially, she is calling for a invasion of Yankees down here. Play it again.
It's time for the North to pull up to the South. It is time for New York to pull up to Alabama. It is time for all of us to come to Georgia, to Louisiana, to Tennessee, to Mississippi, and let them know exactly what they have uncorked with this injustice. They think they can draw us out of power. They do not know the sleeping giant that they just awakened.
All right, that's enough communism for one day.
So much to unpack there. This sounds like what they accused a certain someone of on a certain month, on a day called the 6th, where we're asking for now violence to pull up on the South, to storm our streets with Yankees and attack us and put us down. Again, very similar to what happened in 2020. They just didn't announce it. They just did it. So now she's calling for that again, maybe even worse. Fully wanting violence against the southern half of we can even call this a union anymore. When GCB texted me, I was getting ready for work and I didn't respond for 2 hours, and I just pulled up and watched first 5 seconds of that and was like, I've had to take all day to compress it and talk and think about it, because it's just wow. That's all I really can say.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's like I texted you earlier, and I'll bring this back up, but it's shocking to see that where we are right now. This is the same type of hostility, the same type of aggression, the same type of hatred that our ancestors saw from people of the North in the 1840s and 50s and going into the election of 1860. Yep. It's the same thing. The Wide Awakes, who were the radicals who supported Lincoln's election in 1860, we're seeing them, but they're just under a new face. In this case, it is Congresswoman, whatever her name is, AOC. Really calling for a portion of the country to to march down into another spot, though, is also the same thing that we saw not only the wide awakes before, but the same type of tyrannical government in occupied Reconstruction under Thaddeus Stevens and the radical Republicans of that area.
Mm-hmm.
And she does. Dr. Mitchum says that she does need some serious psychiatric help, and I would agree. I would dare say that she probably needs to resign. Especially you alluded to the January 6th stuff. And I don't know if that's going to strike us or not. Don't care.
I'll handle it if it does, because I'm willing to die on the hill today. They can usually catch me in a mood where I'm like, you know what? Fine, I'll play to y'all's game, but not today. That's why I didn't say specifically. I just said a sixth of a month.
Yeah.
But again, that's what they accused him of.
Yeah, and she's doing the same thing.
And she's doing the same thing and calling for something that again happened in 2020 to be far worse.
Yeah.
And again, I love how you pulled it
not
into
even
the 1840s and 50s.
Yeah, well, I was going to say not even 2020. I mean, what her saying this, screaming this, the implications of the Calais case, is what's going to revive what happened in 2020. It's going to revive it. They're going to say that the Calais case was inspired because there were monuments and things of that nature. But my big thing is, here she is, again, she's essentially saying that we're going to trample down upon you, by force. She's essentially, there was never, the war between the states was not a civil war. Civil war is defined as one government or one faction of a government trying to overthrow another. And while technically that did not happen with our side of it, we were trying to fight for independence. It's a war for Southern independence. You could say that the North trying to overthrow the Jeffersonian government that we had and replace it with a Lincolnian one is definitely was kind of a civil war. But continuing or digressing. She's calling for, again, Yankees to come down here. Maybe not necessarily federal troops to come down here, but she wants her point of view, her will, and the will of everybody who's like her, who thinks like her, to subjugate the will of those who do not agree. I mean, it's the same thing that we see from 1607 and all the way to today with the four different, the Albion Seed and the pathways into America, the Yankee ideology that they are morally, intellectually, and more superior than us, and we have to bend down to what they want, or they will come in and force it down our throats. Sorry, I just saw that you started Carl's thing. But continuing on but it's the same thing. And again, a federal congresswoman, and again, federal, obviously, but trying to impose her will on the states that she has she's never been a citizen thereof. Doing all that, is again, we see the same thing that happened in 1860 happening now.
Federal overreach.
Trying to put a federal overreach, and that goes into our next thing. Earlier this week, about 8 days ago, so it's a little over a week ago, the the New York Times put out an article about a private call that was held between Democratic House Minority Leader Jeffries, again from, I believe, New York. Hakeem Jeffries of New York, Minority Leader, who spoke with some members of, or some I believe they're members of the House of Delegates of Virginia, because the Virginia Supreme Court overturned a certain redistricting map. And in this article, they talk about in the private phone call, the idea was floated about potentially changing the state House of House Delegates, going and changing the state law to require a mandatory or a new mandatory retirement age, of members of the Virginia Supreme Court to then go in and overturn the previous ruling. And again, this is a vast federal overreach just to keep in power. A person who's not from that state trying to work and impose the will of his faction over that of the people of the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Again, it's so funny. The party that yells that we're stealing freedoms and we're doing this and we're doing that. It's not even us, really. It's what goes around as conservatism these days. And then they'll do something so extreme like, okay, this current Supreme Court will not support us in doing something unconstitutional, so we will change the age limit so all of them are out.
Yeah, force them to retire. And then when they retire, we'll appoint who we want. And then go and again, the thing that makes me the most mad about it is, and we know, we see all the time that there are backroom deals in politics. I mean, that's, no one wants to see how the sausage is really made, all that stuff. But the fact that, again, we have an outside federal level Yankee coming in, and granted, Virginia is Virginia. But again, the outsiders coming in and trying to influence the will of an independent sovereign state that's not them.
I just thought about something funny. This is the same group of people that let's say at the beginning of the start of a new presidential administration, started pleading that states' rights say this, states' rights say this, you can't do this, that's federal overreach, which they're not wrong, but it's the same party that now that they have a chance to go and do some federal overreach, what are they doing?
Right.
They're reaching over with the federal government and screw states' rights.
Yeah, and Carl's right. The left, no matter what, has never been able to accomplish its goals through legislation. It's always been through the courts, because common sense legislation, just, well, except for spending way too much money, but that's a different topic for another day. But and kind of to go into this, Jason said earlier. First, before we do that, I'm going to address Carl's. It's likewise that he caused the centralization of power that haunts us this day. Yes. Moreover, the North pulling up to the South provoked Jim Crow and the radical division that lasted for over 100 years. Jim Crow started in Connecticut in the 1830s, and the North is more segregated to this day than the South. And you're right, Carl, because you look at the black codes and things of that prior to the war and after the war. Lincoln's own Illinois did not allow, freedmen of color to live in that state for, I believe, more than 30 days. Whereas we down here have, we blended our cultures together towards one, whether it's the French Huguenots of the Carolinas to the Creoles of Louisiana, or the Cajuns of Louisiana, everything like that. We have some pockets, but we're one amalgamous or homologized culture down here for the most part. But Jason kind of brought up what I was going to bring up and kind of get towards tonight, is that she's a bad female version of John Brown, and that's what we're seeing. Is with all this between Speaker Jeffries and Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, not Speaker. God forgive me for that. Minority Leader Jeffries. Whew, been a long day. He wishes he was Speaker, but still Congresswoman. Those two out of Congress. I mean, that's exactly what it is. We have people coming down here agitating, and trying to whoop up people to get to some type of violence. Now, again, we talked about 2020, and we see that, but let's also look at what happened in the 1850s in Kansas. And yes, and that was where I was getting to. Chuck, get out of my head. Don't pull up his comment yet. But that's what we're seeing. We're seeing, for example, John Brown was supported by his secret committee of 6 important abolitionists who funded him and funded everything that he was doing. But also, look back at what he did in Kansas. Between the different massacres, the Pottawatomie massacre, for example, the murder of James Doyle at his cabin where they drug him out, his adult son William and his other adult son Drury, and then hacked them to death with broadswords. Brown personally shot James Doyle in the head, A 16-year-old son, John Doyle, was only spared after his mother begged. Then later at the Allen Wilkinson cabin, Wilkinson was taken and hacked to death again with broadswords. His wife and children were spared. And then William Sherman, also Sherman sometimes referred to as Dutch Henry, was removed and killed with a broadsword, and his body left in a creek. They were brutal killings, and things of that nature. And it was used to strike terror in the heart of the Southerners that had moved to Kansas. He had, a group of people that were supporting him. The woman who wrote the Battle Hymn of the Republic, her husband was one of them. Garrett Smith, who is a wealthy New York philanthropist, who's kind of, to me, sounds a little bit like George Soros. My views and opinions. Was one of the ones that backed him. And we're seeing the same thing over and over again. And Chuck Mack did mention, what we're going to talk about. And if you really want to get a good comparison of the times now versus the times then, Matt Walsh, who we did a video on his video on Lincoln, not Lincoln, excuse me, on Lee. Long day.
Great, by the way, go watch that.
Yeah. He also released one, and it is on YouTube, on John Brown and how the North, and since his execution for treason, the crime against a state, which one could argue, threatening or trying to incite a riot, or trying to get people from those other states to come down here, and pull up, I would say would be a treasonous act. My views and opinions. It's the same thing. We're just seeing it years later, and history is repeating itself yet again. But the thing is, we now have a chance to look at it. Are we going to sit here and allow it to happen? And in this case, versus the 2020 analogy or comparison, or are we going to use this as our time to stand up and look and see and be on the lookout for what is coming? Okay, Moose, you can talk.
Oh, sorry. I was looking for the John Brown, Matt Walsh video.
Just type into YouTube search your John Brown, Matt Walsh.
Google took me on a ride, my man. It wouldn't even send me to YouTube. I found it now. I have the link. I was going to share it in the chat for people to watch after the episode. But as I said, it was a lot of complex emotions seeing that today and seeing obviously where they're taking this. Again, as GCB said, history repeats itself. And I think they're trying to make history repeat itself from the 1840s, from the 1850s. And they, I guess, think they've beaten us and they can just come in here and do whatever they want, or they do want us to do something. I'm not going to say what. We're not encouraging anything on the show, again, views and opinions, but it is a scary thought of what they're implying here and heavily applying. You don't just say it's time to go pull up on the South.
They're not implying. I mean, they're actively stating. The first thing that came into my mind was, the song, Try That in a Small Town. And I imagine that's where a lot of people's minds went with it when they heard it. But it's eerily similar, and you say that they think that they've beaten us, and you look at it, and you look at our numbers in our organization versus and where we are as a people. Carl said this. 2015 when I first met him and first talked to him, when we were talking about Southern history, and we talk about how Southern history is more than 1861, 1865, and 1607 to today. That for the vast majority of us Southerners, or for especially in our generation here, we have people that aren't even proud. Now, we've seen some resurgence of it in the past couple of years, but we see people, and hopefully more. We will see more of it with as videos like the Matt Walsh ones are coming out. We see people that are apologetic for being Southern. We see people that are ashamed of being Southern. We see people that have been beaten down and have been, and this has only happened in our lifetime. That through academia and everything like that are just yeah, I'm from the South. Yeah, they don't take pride in their region or their culture anymore. And because of that, because we've seen it, because we've been beaten down, that's why we don't see people trying to stand up and get to where we were. And that's where we as an organization are supposed to come in. We're supposed to come in and instill that pride, not only in our ancestors, not only in the heritage that we have that was bequeathed to us by them, but rather the entirety of being Southern culture, Southern history, Southern everything. And while our camps need to be out there in the forefront as the front line, more than just a Civil War roundtable with a Southern twang, rather or a Southern perspective, rather we should be out there being the civic organization that we should be, being the best civic organization that we can in your community, so that when your stuff comes under attack, because it is, and we've shown you their attack plan, it is still available on the SPLC's website of what they're going to do, and especially now that they have had a catalyst, come through with the Calais case, and we're hearing, we're hearing AOC, calling for this and that. That's what they want. They want to put us on the defensive. Where now is the time. They're still trying to reorganize and everything to go on the attack. And by going on the attack means go and do something in your community yesterday.
Yes.
We just had Confederate Heritage Month. We just had Law Enforcement Appreciation Week. It's graduation season. We should be seeing the SCV out there in full force. Memorial Day is this weekend. Why can't I'm not going to go there, but we should be seeing that because it is coming. It is coming.
And really, the only way we can win this 100% is if we get the Southern people behind us, get the court of public opinion. And in order to do that, one of the major tools is going to be community outreach. Do they see you in the community? Are you out there actually challenging the narrative they've put on us? Because I'll go ahead and tell you, the Matt Walsh thing is a treasure trove. You could go out to a lot of colleges now, a lot of young people my age, people even GCB's age, show them that video. That's a major media outlet of a major political commentator agreeing with us. That's a massive tool. And that could really, really get the ball rolling so much in our corner. But it doesn't do us any good if we don't capitalize on it, if we're not out in the community and people will still hear day in and day out what the Unlawful Center says about us, what the other organizations say about us, what the politicians say about us, what the teachers say about us because they have control of the schools. We have to get out there and show them who we really are. We might as well just be welcoming them back. And this time they're going to try to take everything again. And they're going to try even harder. Again, this is what she's asking for, to pull up on the South. I'm going to need the Advil after the show. And I can feel a headache from the stupidity and just from the anger I have in this. Like, just... I can't. And then, if we're not careful, they're going to try to create another... I'm just not. And we have good momentum. We've gotten some wins under our belt. in the past couple months. And this is them trying to step up and take it. And as GCB said, they're so confident that they'll win, so confident they can beat us. They put their game plan online. They don't even have the decency to try to hide it from us. And they expect every single one of our members to go to it, do nothing. They expect their followers to go to it and just act on it.
Yeah, they expect us to go. They expect us to go belly up and beg is what it boils down to, and continue to take what we have taken. But when is enough going to be enough? When are we going to say that that I've had it? I mean, the stuff that happened in 2015, nobody could see happening. The stuff in 2020 happening in Minnesota, all of a sudden coming down into the South. But she stood close to the same area. You and I've been there. We have been to that side of the Capitol of the State House in Alabama. We have, in what was it, Chuck, 2011. That's where the sesquicentennial event happened. Up about maybe 30 feet from where she was standing, there's a star, a bronze star in the marble. So I believe it's a Star of David, showing where President Davis was inaugurated as provisional president. She stood near that spot in the shadow of the Jeff Davis Monument and said that she wants New York. And granted, that's her state, so she can only speak for New York. But when you hear New York, think New York, New Jersey, California, Ohio. Again, you're Ohio. Anyway, your Yankees. Again, there's a difference between physical Yankee and cultural Yankee, but your culturally Yankee states to pull up down here.
And she 100% meant to pick that spot, by the way. That wasn't something just a sign.
Well, I mean, that's just where the organizers of that particular rally, just like how in Jackson at our state house, it's the South Side. It just happens to be the area where there's the most availability for people to stand and things like that. But she wouldn't know who Jeff Davis was. If his statue was animated by some type of heavenly host and came down there, and he was able to reincarnate into the bronze statue, march down there and say, "Hey, I'm Jefferson Davis, host president of the Confederacy." She's not going to understand that. She wouldn't understand that.
Yeah, maybe I'm giving her too much credit.
Yeah, I mean, but still, I mean, the spot where she was though, and to say that, and we're still going to have people that are going to ignore it.
Oh yeah, there are people, and again, I guess that's what's really bothering me tonight. Why I'm speechless on this is there's going to be, I know, at least 10 people reach out to me in this organization and say, "Oh, well, we've had it worse. Nothing's going to happen." And again, we're going to end up in the same situation we were in 15 and 20, where this stuff came out of left field. Yes. But there was no preparation on our side, and we're going to lose ground.
I'm going to disagree with you what you're saying.
3.0, more like it.
No. To suggest 2.0 would suggest that version 1 ended.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, we're still under there. We still even some places have the federal occupation. But I mean, it is things got a little bit better, but it's still, we have to beg our federal overlords, my views, opinion, for anything. But there is good news. I mean, we are seeing states like South Carolina standing up and passing stronger monument legislation. Louisiana, I believe, has a bill in their House that's supposed to go to the Senate that would re-erect some of the monuments that were taken down during the hysteria of the last decade and over the previous craziness, but on state property. So I mean, there is hope, but where there's hope, there's also we need to be cautious. We are winning. We are winning, but this is the kind of feel like John the Baptist out in the wilderness, yelling, declare, prepare you the way of the Lord. But still, I mean, it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, I always knew that round 3 was coming, similar to how 15 and 20 happened.
Yeah,
I always just felt in my gut like
nobody saw 15 coming.
Well, no one saw it coming.
I mean, we knew it would come, but we didn't know it would be then under what catalyst. But we have the catalyst, and again, it's the same vitriol, and it's amping up. That's the thing that is the saddest. It is amping up, and we're like I said earlier, we're seeing the same vitriolic hatred that was spewed by people of the North in 1859, 1860, as we're seeing today.
And I want to clarify real quick, because you do have a great point. No one saw 15 coming, but I do want to pray. It was still a hard fought battle for us, and just like how that was going to be a hard fought battle in 2020, I knew that something was coming. I don't know. I didn't know what. I didn't know when. I just knew that something was coming, and I figured it'd be around this time, 26, 27. It seems to be the cycle. They will do little mini battles, and there's will be a big one. Yeah. And so her saying pull up on the South, it shocked me. It made me angry, but I knew something like that was coming. That's why, again, I've been working so hard since 2020. Yeah. I want to be able to say and look at my ancestor and my descendants and be like, well, I did my best.
Yeah. Michael, to answer your question, I don't think they even realized, unless they saw the sign. It didn't look like there were that many of her people there. She was just trying to
cause a fight.
make hay while she could. But yeah, nothing was reported done over there. But I'm not surprised. I would not be surprised if they yelled rude things or did a small little demonstration. But as far as damage to the building, no, not to the first White House. No. At least it wasn't reported that I saw. But it's just
get ready.
Yeah.
And by get ready, I mean get out in your community. The SCV is a perfect tool, is the perfect organization to step up and defend the South. We have great allies in our other heritage organizations. And we have been given a miracle. As I said, I don't know how big of a win some of y'all realize a mainstream media outlet basically being like, you know what? The South was right. And quote a book from one of our members, Dr. Sandy Mitchell. What? They're even reading our stuff now? Like, that's massive. And again, the people we could reach with that. But first, we have to show them we're not the bad guys we're pointed. Go out in the community, clean headstones, pick up trash, support other people.
Publicize it.
Yes, please. I understand it. Southerners do not want attention. We don't like to broadcast, but we have to. That's just the world we live in. We have to be active on the digital landscape in promoting this organization, our activities in the community, and our mission. Because if we don't do any of that, we're not even really fulfilling our mission, because no one knows about our mission. No one cares. We have to fight that way. And we have to be looking for key opportunities. That's what my camp is focusing on right now. We have one camp member who is 100%. His job is to find ways for us to get into the community, find more ways to be active. finding more ways to be active online. There's so many things we could be doing, and I would love to see more. And again, we have to capitalize on this momentum while we have it, because soon, as you can see from this, they're wanting another fight. Will we have the resources to fight back this time the way we need to in order to win this?
Let me interrupt you. It's not so much that they're wanting us to fight, and Carl just said this, and I want to bring it up. John Rawlins of South Carolina recognized in 1788 that if we entered into union with the northeastern states, ignoring the cultural disparities, the sun of the southern states would set never to rise again. He knew that Puritan culture held in their DNA an uncontrollable lust for dominance, and that's it. It's not a fight for fight's sake. It is cultural dominance, and that's what it boils down to. They have to be right, we have to be wrong. In order for, let me rephrase it. They have to be right, and in order for them to be right, we have to be wrong, or somebody has to be wrong.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because thank you, Carl, thank you, Connor, because that is 100% the right take. They have this lust for power. They have, and I love this franchise to death, they have the Star Wars vision, the battle of good versus evil, but they always have to be the good. No, they can make no wrong, but the South can. The South has, and the South continues to do this.
In their
we have
point
to
of view.
beat the bad rednecks.
In their point of view.
Yeah, in their point of view.
But it's like I said, it's a shame that we're here on the 250th precipice, or the precipice of the 250th. This time, all those years ago, Richard Henry Lee, a Virginian, was getting ready to go and return back home so that he could get permission to bring forth a resolution that these 13 colonies should be free and independent states, capital S. But yet and Chuck Mack mentioned it earlier. And kind of what Michael's talking about, in order to destroy the American spirit, they have to come after the strongest defender, which is the Southern spirit, because without the South, there would be no America. And we are the last bastion of hope for this experiment, this republic, to even survive. They don't want it to survive. They don't want any vestiges of the ideas. They now ironically, they want to go and quote Jefferson. Only the parts of Jefferson they think is worth quoting. The rest of him, the portion of the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, pursuit, and happiness, and all that stuff. They want to promote that, but that's it. The rest of Jefferson can go away. Let's tear down his statues while we're at it. Which we've seen and is coming next, and has already started. No kidding, Chuck. And that's what it does boil down to. A Yankee worries himself with everybody else's problems but their own. And that is the case. And they're worrying about stuff that they shouldn't worry about. If congressional lines are, and that's it's again like Carl said, an uncontrollable lust for dominance, whether it's a cultural dominance or in this case a political dominance. They feel like the only way that they can do anything is to completely dominate 100%. That the idea of and that's why California wants to secede, or parts of California wants to secede. And why, after the first election, or the re-election of President Trump, I believe we did an episode on northern blue states wanting to, again, don't get into politics, and them wanting to secede and form their own union.
Funny, ain't it?
But yeah, well, I mean, it's not really funny. I wish it would happen.
Yeah. California,
if they don't,
you can go bye-bye.
Well, if they don't, then take Hawaii with you. But if they don't want to try to, to coexist, leave our history alone, equal protection for our history, equal protection for our rights, then they have to come in and domineer and then completely, continue to whittle us down. But we need to take a break and pay some bills really quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, we went through. Ain't no take a break. It's about to be sign off.
Well, we hope everybody. That's a good point. We'll go ahead and wrap it up for the evening.
Oh, you cleaned up. That's real nice.
Yeah, I always try to, because if not, we'll run out of storage. But as usual, our wonderful episodes are brought to you by our Patreons as well as our sponsors on Patreons. Hey, Moose.
Yes.
How's your head feeling?
Well, I do kind of have a bit of headache from dealing with.
Well, if I had a head your size, I would too. You should go see Dr. Chris Cummins, MD, PLLC, especially next time you're in Oxford. You were just up there the other day. You should have went and seen Doc and gotten some some preventative medicine.
Yeah, it could have helped my knee pain too.
Yeah, but Dr. Cummins is past surgeon-in-chief of the SCV. He is a member of the SCV. He is a supporter of our show, and he is one of the best medical practitioners I know. He is in Oxford, Mississippi. That address is wrong. We have not had a chance to go in and update, but he is at what address, Moose?
501 Heritage Drive, Suite 11, or 111 of Oxford, Mississippi.
Go see Doc Cummins if you're in pain. Hopefully, we will have the 2028 National Reunion up there. And just in case anybody does get hurt, you can go visit Doc and support him because he supports us. Also, don't forget, out on the West Coast, we have Todd and the 31st Regiment Engraving. 31stregengraving.com. All sorts of wonderful things that he has out there, including those beautiful Jefferson Davis earrings. I ought to get a pair and send them to that Congresswoman.
Please.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste my money on her. But of course, we often talk about the memorial wristbands for your ancestors, but all sorts of wonderful little goodies, challenge coins, bottle openers. If it can be laser engraved, he can laser engrave it. Reach out to Todd, 31stregengraving.com. Especially if you have a fundraiser you're trying to do for your camp or trying to do something cool to honor one of your ancestors, check him out. Of course, we have to thank Andrew Casimir at Beauregard's Tailor. Andrew has gotten away from his, much to my heartbreak, his War Between the States reproductions, and is focusing on his business with the historical T-shirts, stickers, magnets, reproduction flags. You could still go and shop some of his closeout items at Beauregard'sTailor.shop. Remember, we do have those second national lapel pins that we picked up from him that we will be giving away at our live episode at National Reunion. So stay tuned for that. Moose has seen them. They're beautiful pins. They are riding in my car right now under lock and key. So definitely give him a visit over there, especially because, we did our whole Fun with Flags episodes, and he has a great line of Revolutionary War flags.
I can say I got some lovely stickers and a reproduction flag of the 11th Mississippi Infantry, also known as the University Grays. That was my gift to me for graduating. And I can say they're historically accurate and great quality items.
Yeah, I just pulled up his 1776 collection.
Boom.
Yeah, bunch of Revolutionary War, Francis Marion. I'm thinking about getting one of those myself. Just not the sticker, but the South Carolina Naval Jack. I need to get one of those for Moultrie pins too, especially because I'm joining the SAR, Sons of the American Revolution.
Welcome.
Turning in my application this Thursday, and boy howdy was that a show enough thing.
Yeah.
I actually have the Washington headquarters flag flying outside of my house right now.
So,
just kind of what I decided to do. Yeah, definitely give them a chance, look at it. While we're talking about the South Carolinians, we cannot fail to mention the museum at Market Hall in Charleston, South Carolina. Just saw this past weekend where they put a picture out with a flag flying. because if the flag's flying, they are open, which is usually on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Please, please, please visit their website, which is museum@markethall.com. If not, pull out your phone, scan the QR code. They got a lovely video, beautiful website. You can donate to support their cause, become a friend of their museum, follow them on Facebook, and check out their gift shop for a bunch of cool items. If you do decide to go, these are some of the things you'll see: the giant life-size portrait of P.G.T. Beauregard, uniform, swords, secession banners, the Fort Sumter flag, other different flags, other things from wartime, things from before the war, things that are post-war, including the bed that John C. Calhoun passed away on, which was really, really cool to see.
I just noticed that picture of Beauregard
looks nothing like Larry McClooney. And also the Sam Davis Home and Museum. Just kidding, Larry. It looks a little bit like it. Go and visit the Sam Davis Boyhood Home and Museum. It is just right outside of it's in Smyrna, Tennessee. Smyrna, Tennessee, which is very close to headquarters. In fact, this weekend we will not have a show next Monday, by the way, because of Memorial Day. But this weekend, my fiance and I are taking a trip up to Central Tennessee, going to do some sightseeing and things of that nature. We're going to stop by headquarters, but we may stop by the Sam Davis Boyhood Home.
Ooh.
Because we need to kill some time. They've got and we may, because they got a lovely film to watch about Sam Davis, and we get to view and explore the museum, go and look at his grave and everything like that, and definitely could go and look at the gift shop. But yeah, so much to see and do up there. Very, very friendly site. So yeah, go and check them out. And of course, we do thank all of our friends over at Patreon, our guys who are Patreon members, patreon.com/SCV_chat. If you want to support us. If you do not want to support us on that, but you would like something really cool to have, reminders that we do have these wonderful t-shirts on sale right now on a special discount. If you go to scvchat.com and then go into the support us, you'll see our bonfire store link, and you'll see that one, the Patrick Claiborne shirt, so many others. We are running a 15% off between now and July 5th. If you buy our The South Was Right in 1861 because of America Was Right in 1776, use promo code 250. Again, promo code 250 to get 15% off. We may come out with another shirt pretty soon.
Ooh.
Besides the Moose Mania one. I've got, like I said, I've been toying with a design idea. Been toying with that.
That's very nice.
Just gotta sit down and put it on a t-shirt. Upload it into Bonfire and everything goes with it. We, like I said, we will not be on next Monday because it's Memorial Day. It's a time for us to reflect not only about our Confederate ancestors, but, that's one thing that we talk about in the SCV. We've had posters and ads about it. Even after the war between the states, and from the Spanish Am War all the way to modern day, we have had Southern men who have still given their lives for this country, for the ideas and the principles that their ancestors fought for in the American Revolution, as well as in the war between the states. And it's time for us to reflect on their sacrifices. Thinking about like my grandfather, great uncle of mine who was a recon scout for Patton's Third Army during the Battle of the Bulge. Things of that nature, especially those men who did not come home. The thousands, hundreds of thousands of Southern blood that has been shed in defense of those principles and ideas. So we will be taking that day for to reflect and spend family time and things of that nature. But we will have programming all week, I do believe. Like tomorrow night. What are you doing tomorrow night?
Well, I think I'm going to sit back and after a very, very long day at work, enjoy an episode of Tennessee Tuesday.
That's right. Remember, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, John Blankenship. Long day. We'll be on with Tennessee Tuesday, and then of course Wednesday we have Look Around Florida with Sean McFall. I believe I saw that he's going to have one of the candidates for Lieutenant Commander in Chief on. So that'll be interesting for y'all to watch. And then Thursday, what are you doing for Look Around there, Moose?
Well, since we haven't had an episode in a while because of work and just so many deadgum things have happened this month, we will be doing an episode of Look Around, catching up on all the great news that y'all have been sending our way. I do apologize. This stuff was just unavoidable and always last minute, so I couldn't schedule another host. So we will be catching up on the news Thursday. So make sure to tune in and check that out.
And like I said, we'll be off and then restart again. We'll say this to remind everybody to get registered for National Reunion, 131scv.org. Get your registration in, buy some of their merch. You can get your official Hank glasses there. And we look forward to seeing everybody in Kentucky. We're getting there slowly but surely. I've got to work on Mississippi Division stuff the rest of the week to get ready for our reunion. Yeah. So, So, y'all just remember what we talked about tonight. It is coming. They're going to try to pull up on the South again. So don't.
Ooh, make sure to send that my way, Michael. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up here. And in the words of the late and great Harold Philpott, no food in the elevator.
No fumar in the elevator.
What does that mean, Harrison?
No smoking in the elevator.
Very good. It's the only Spanish he knows.
It's the only Spanish I know. 7.5 years of college. Only Spanish I know.
Besides that, and another taco, please.
El bet liberté. No.